So first of all, just to introduce myself to ones who are new students, I am Ashnat Kothari. So two of us will be taking the classes, one being me and the another being my colleague Gunjan Goyal. So just to give you some background regarding us, both of us, like most of you all, are actual aspirants. We have cleared 10 papers each so far according to the old curriculum, and we are proceeding further with our other papers as well. So first talking about the who would be taking which part of the paper. CM1, CM2, CS1, CS2. So these have two parts, as most of you might be aware of. Paper A part would be taken by me. Paper B part is something which Gunjan shall be taking. Even the the part where it comes to mathematical typing of paper A on MS Word, that is again something which Gunjan shall be taking. For paper CB1, I am the one who takes the classes for it. B for Bombay, CB1. For CB2, again B for Bombay, Gunjan is the one who takes the classes. And even for CP2, where P is for Patna, Gunjan is the one who takes the classes for same. So in this particular session, there shall be 10 points, which I would be highlighting on. We'll go one by one on each of them. So the first thing was nothing but the introduction, which I have already introduced myself and Gunjan in brief. Moving forward to the next part. Uh, just a second, probably some issues with the system. Just for confirmation, please do let me know that the screen is visible to you all. It's probably written introduction and contact us right now. Just confirm me, one or two, any one of you. You can just confirm. Fine, I get it's visible. Okay. Is there anyone else waiting? No, probably all are here. Perfect then. So coming to the contact us, it's important section because a lot of times you'll get confused regarding which number to contact and so on. So I'll just make it clear right at the outset. Please feel free to take down any notes you would want to take. So there are multiple ways in which you can connect to either me or Gunjan. So my number is basically +91. Again, for students from outside India, you would be needing the country code. So this remains my WhatsApp and my Telegram number. So feel free to drop a message at any time of the day on WhatsApp or on Telegram. As for calls, avoid calling on odd hours. WhatsApp, Telegram, feel free to ping me anytime with whatever queries you might have. For Gunjan, if I'm not wrong, the number is 8961. Need to just take a check out the number. Um, Gunjan, if you're there, could you share your number? I happen not to recall it, so I'll just take a look at it. Okay, 896 1640541. Again, you can ping her on Telegram or on WhatsApp for any queries regarding it. Coming to next, you might be over the next let's say this particular term, you might be having different sort of doubts. So who should be your contact point depends on the type of issue you're facing. So to start with, in case of any technical issues with our software, which quite a few of you already have, especially the ones who are joining us for the first time, for any such issues, I'm the person you should contact with. Do not have to contact Gunjan. Just in case if I'm not available for some reason, you could feel free to drop a message to her. But I should be the first point of contact for any technical issues with respect to our software from which you would be viewing the lectures as well as the other documents. Anything related to paper A part, so CM1, CM2, CS1, CS2, and CB1. For the first four papers, anything to do with the paper A part, and for CB1, if you have any doubts, I should be the person you should be contacting. And for the paper B part, or whether it's let's say CB2 or CP2, Gunjan is the one who you should be contacting for same. Uh, some of you might be preparing for job interviews as well. So again, for any job interview questions part, anything like that, feel free to contact me. In case any one of you are looking for any guidance with respect to selection of papers, you can reach out to either me or Gunjan for same. Anything works well. Particularly for Gunjan, anything you have any issues with paper B part, as I already mentioned earlier, anything to do with the mathematical typing part or anything to do with Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, R programming to start with, she is the best person to contact with for any such issues. If you have any issues with respect to the resume or let's say the CV which you have prepared, so again Gunjan is the correct person. If she has the time, she might take a look at this. So anything related to just getting your resume checked, and if certain points are missed or not, she's the person you should contact with. And again, if you have any again inputs regarding job interview questions, so either me or Gunjan, you can reach out to any one of us. So we have information regarding different companies, so sometimes it could happen that you might be reaching out to Gunjan and she would ask you to contact me for a particular opportunity. Same thing I could be doing. So it's not that we are dealing it, just that we have a set of questions, or we are just more aware about certain companies specifically. And for certain companies which we feel we're not really that much sure about, or we don't have much information, we basically ask you to reach to some other person for same. So this was for the contact us section. Now coming to what are the various channels. So any specific career related guidance or the paper thing or anything like that, I at least I'll talk about myself. I'll prefer if you all reach out to me through WhatsApp itself. Over Telegram, soon in the next 1 to 2 weeks, we would be creating study groups separately for all the papers. And for especially CM1, CM2, CS1, and CS2, we shall be making two groups. So one group will be just for the general updates, which might have information related to institute notification or something to do with the classes timings and all. Second group would be primarily for posting your doubts, any sort of doubts, be it numerical part, be it conceptual part. I'll keep repeating this throughout the session. Don't even think twice before asking any academic doubts you might have. Always feel free to ask. There's nothing called a silly doubt or a stupid doubt or anything like that. Whatever doubts you are, we are here for there exactly. So always feel free to ask those. um, Next thing is, you can also it's preferable that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. A lot of videos would be available there itself and not in our software, that is content browser. And certain new updates might be released by IFA or II. In such cases, we often come out with videos describing these notifications. So our YouTube channel named Fanatics itself, it's best you subscribe to it and click on the bell icon so that you get updates whenever we upload a new video. As for LinkedIn, you can follow either our Fanatics page, or you could also send out a connection request to either me or Gunjan. We are pretty active there. Whatever updates are there, be with respect to notifications from IAI or IFOA or job opportunities available, that's the place where all these things are being posted. And just on the fun side, if you're interested in memes and all, I am personally pretty much interested in these. And obviously some sense of humor is required even while preparing for this particular course. So for that, you can follow Fanatics page on Instagram. There we share memes and all. Other forums, we try to avoid sharing memes. Sometimes if it's too good, we might be compelled to post these. But yeah, just on the lighter note, if you want to just take a look at maybe actual memes or something to do with actuaries thing and all these stuff, you can follow Fanatics page on Instagram as well. So this was basically about contact us section. Next thing, coming to the exam dates and the results. So for IAI, for the April session, or should I say the March session, the dates probably, as the last time I checked, they weren't out when they would be declaring. So IAI is kind of notorious when it comes to communicating things timely. So it's kind of a surprise. It's always kind of a surprise with respect to when they would be releasing the dates for for the exam results. As for IFOA, again, I'll show it to you all how to go about these, so that later on, whenever you have doubts, such doubts with respect to what is the day of the exam, when is the results out coming, for these, don't come back to us. Honestly, these are something you can directly Google and find it out on the respective page of the institute as well. So these things are pretty much easily available. We just need to type a thing on Google. The most of the time, the first link which comes out is the one having the appropriate information you're looking out for. For just these things, it comes to what is the exam date and all. It's something I'll request all to not reach out to us for these, because you can get the answers for these yourself as well. So I'm just telling this all. Quite a few of you are already preparing for actual papers and you pretty well know it. But for the ones who are starting with their actual journey, you all should know which websites you should be looking at, because not all information can be conveyed by us. Certain things remain in the website itself and could be subject to different interpretations. So it's always good that you yourself take a look of these details. So I'll just share my. I hope I'll share my screen with you all, and I'll just show you basically with respect to how to check the result. Again, it might be quite obvious to all of you, but yeah, for new joiners, again, it's I'm just doing it. So let's say you want to talk about the IFOA exam results. So all you need to do is IFOA exam results. You put that, you paste it. Again, it might be funny for a few of you, but then please go through it, because constantly students keep asking us, "Bhaiya, kab result aa raha hai? When are the results happening? When are the exam dates?" And this is something they can, it's more quicker to Google it out and get the answer than to drop us a message. We'll take a look at it. Not always we also remember specifically the exam dates for all the papers. So this kind of becomes easier. So this thing is, again, you could see the date 29 November 2019. So this could be outdated. So here are the exam dates. I just click on these and we'll just take a look. As far as I recall, it was on 6th of what to say, July, but I'll just check it out when are the results coming out. Yeah, so here are the results date for papers CM, CS, and CB12. It's on 6th of July, and for the other papers, the higher papers, it's on 8th of July 2021. So this basically answers regarding the examination results date for IFOA. For II, you need to keep checking II website. As for the examination dates, so I'll just show that to you all. Yep. So these are the dates. You can see 13th September and 14th September we are having CM1A, CM1B, CP2 paper 1, CP2 paper 2. It's the AM time. There's a lot of confusion with respect to timing. So all these timings are mentioned according to UK time. See, it's written that here clearly all examinations are run in UK time, with start times varying between 8 and 10. So this is something when you have booked for your exam, at that point of time you'll know what is the examination time. These are with respect to UK time. Now there's a difference between UK time and the Indian standard time, or for students residing in other parts of the world like Australia, South Africa, you can just see the time difference and get an idea with respect to what time in your particular country or in your particular city would the exam be starting from. So this is for basically IFA exam dates. Again, as I said, you can just refer to website. Just to start with, it's starting from 13th of September and it's ending of 28th of September. As for II, you can type, let's say, exam dates 2021, automatically comes. I wouldn't really ask her to go through this. It's always best that you always take a look at the official website itself. So okay, I don't get the IA website. Let me just directly go through the IA website itself. So this is the IA website, that is the Institute and Actuaries of India. So this probably seems to be some issue with this particular thing. Okay. This is something probably we'll have to take a look at some point of time. There's probably an error coming. So let me see if some other results are working for this. So I go back to the home page. Yep, here it is. This you'll see there are different sections available. So for a lot of students who are even planning to appear for ACET, that is the entrance examination for II, not for IFOA. Entrance examination for II. There's the ACET section. You'll see the ACET background, important dates, and so on. So this is the link you need to go through. As for the examination dates, you'll always see an important announcement section in the past 30 days. So I'll just click on view all announcements, and here you will basically find timetable September 2021 examination. Again, I'll keep repeating this. It's best that you always follow the website for these details. We keep posting this, and more often than not, we are making it a habit to put the source as well, because you'll find there are different individual, different institutes sharing these, and at times without knowingly or unknowingly, at fault we might share something which could not be right or could be outdated. So as a best practice from your end, it's always preferable that you directly go to the website, and whatever information is there, you take it that to be correct. Do not even believe us, I would say. It always refer to the website. That would be the best practice. So exams from II are starting from 1st of September and are completing on 17th of September. So just once, especially the students who have been studying for quite some time, maybe let's say 3 4 years, and who appear for examinations from both institutes, this time it might be a bit of issue because certain examinations could be clashing between IIN and IFOA. For all new members or for all students who are members of only one institute, please do not bother about these dates. If you're giving exams from IFOA, stick to that. Ignore information related to II. No need to take so much information and get all confused and all. And students who are appearing from IA, kindly stick to all the details relevant to II itself. So this was basically my third section, which was covering the exam dates and exam result part. So that was the third section, which was basically with respect to the exam results and dates. Next, which we would be looking at, is basically the exam format. Again, quite a few of you are already aware of it, so please bear with me, because there are certain students who would be appearing for their first actual exams. So it's very important for them to have an basic idea with respect to exam format, at least today, and all other further details is something we would be sharing over a course of time. So coming to exam format for these papers, CM1, CM2, CS1, CS2, we have two examinations, one being the A part, another being the B part. For all these four papers, we basically have two set of examinations on two different dates. Now I will be firstly talking about IFOA, and then I will be switching to IAI. So examinations are held on different days. It could be on same days as well. That might has happened with II. With IFOA, it's generally on different days only. So this is the exam format. Coming to the duration for it, paper A is 3 hour 15 minutes. 3 hour 15 minutes. Paper B is 1 hour 45 minutes. Now this is something which is same for all these four papers. Now please keep this in mind. I really wouldn't like to keep repeating this towards the end of the exam. Please get this right today itself, that you get 3 hour 15 minutes of reading and writing time. There is no different writing reading time as such. This 3 hour 15 minutes includes everything. Similarly, this 1 hour 45 minutes. Exams for the September term are gonna be completely online, both for IFOA as well as II. For the coming sessions, there is no exact clarity on same, but what it looks like is yes, the online exams are gonna continue till the time the COVID situation improves across the country as well as across the world. But again, that is something we need to wait for a formal communication from these institutes. After the end of this time, you get an additional 15 minutes for uploading your answer scripts. Again, I am talking about IFOA right now. I will be coming back to II later. You get 15 minutes of uploading time. Now, a lot of you, what you all do is basically you all think ki, Yep. So what all you do is you use certain amount of this time to complete your answers, maybe put your actual reference number, or saving the name of the file in a particular format. Please don't do that. These 15 minutes, understand, as soon as your this time completes, or even I will say 1 minute before this, save everything, just take a look whether it is the right document or not, whether it has been correctly named or not. Everything, keep these things in mind, save it and start uploading it as soon as, let's say, a minute or two is left. These 15 minutes are primarily for you to reach out to IFOA via call. International calling facility will, you would be requiring it at least on the day of the exam. So you could get a pack, or you could arrange it maybe through some relatives or friends who have this facility available. So these 15 minutes, 5 minutes, are for you to reach out to IFOA in case you're unable to upload it. Now what many of you do is, when it's last 2-3 minutes of these 15 minutes, you try to upload them, and if it is not uploading that time, then you call IFOA. In this case, I have had my students, their papers not being accepted because they started uploading late. They called IFA only when 1 or 2 minutes of this 15-minute time was remaining. So IFA will not accept scripts. If by any chance you upload a wrong answer script, IFOA will not accept any other script. This term, I guess, two students, last term there was a student, they uploaded a wrong answer script. So these errors could happen, it's human, but at this point of time when I'm informing you, you should keep this in mind. These things are something which you should not do. It's a crime, because we are gonna keep repeating this again and again. These are errors which won't be tolerated. You would be wasting a term, you would be wasting money on this, you will be wasting your effort and time. So please keep this minor points in mind, it's extremely important. Make sure you're uploading the right answer script. You upload wrong answer script, even if it's empty, IFOA will not accept any other answer script. So keep this in mind. Coming back to these 15 minutes, as soon as the time ends, you try to upload your script. If it's not uploading, there's nothing to panic. You need to call IFOA. Supposedly their calls are not being reached out, they're not responding to it. There is no issue with that. Don't have to worry about anything. Take a screenshot of your mobile where you have called on a particular number. Which number is that is something which we would be sharing with you in due course of time later, not required right now. You need to send a screenshot to a particular email ID, again which we would be sharing later, and you need to tell them, I tried to reach out to IFA through call because I'm unable to upload my answer scripts. They would be responding to our email. They will be sending you a particular code on email, and then only once, either you get a formal confirmation over call, or if you get back an email from them, in case they're not responding to your call, you will be getting a code, and then you can email them your answer scripts. Without this code, you cannot email them, they will not accept it. So calling them in this 15 minutes is extremely important. Another one thing is to ensure that you save the file during this time itself. For ones who separately send the documents via email, the timestamp of the document, timestamp is basically the last modified or the last saved time, is explicitly checked by IFOA. If it falls after this 3 hour 45 minutes, it won't be accepted. Again, you might have some of your colleagues or some of your friends who are saying, I did it after 2-3 minutes and mine was accepted. They were lucky it got accepted. There's no point of you trying this. You might try to jump from a 2-floor building and you might still be alive, but you keep doing that and sometime you would be dying. So this is something you shouldn't try, irrespective of what your friends have done, what your colleagues have done. I am telling you today, and take it to be something which should not be tinkered with. Take it as it is. As soon as this examination timing is gonna get completed towards the last minute, just see whether all the files are in correct format or not with respect to naming, certain headers or photos are there or not. Start uploading it. If you get upload, you would be getting a confirmation on your screen as well as your email. If you're not getting any confirmation on your email address, it means your paper has not been submitted. So check instantly after uploading your paper whether you're getting an email for confirmation of same as well or not. And in case of issue, you call IFOA. They call, they have a talk, they understand your issue, they'll send you out a code on your email ID. You send the answer script. Do not do anything on that answer script. Do not again open it or save it. because if timestamp changes, they will not accept your paper. That is as simple as that is. And in case they're not picking up your calls, you email them, you attach screenshot ki, you had called IFA, but they were not responding to it for some issue. They would be getting back to you via email. It could be relatively, maybe could be after an hour or even after 2 hours. Given a lot of students might face issues on a particular examination day, they will definitely get back to you, and then you can email your answer script. Just make sure you do not open your file, you do not work on it after the stipulated exam time ends. So this is something which you all keep in mind, especially the new students. Just keep this in your head. This is something, it's like a, I should say, Bhagavad Gita or Bible or Quran for you. Whatever I'm mentioning right now for this thing, you should keep in mind. Don't try anything fancy. Ignore what others are saying. There might be exceptional cases where answer scripts might be getting accepted later as well, but I've personally seen my students, their answer scripts not getting accepted, and trust me, it's not a good thing to be in. Another thing I'll just mention is, while working on Excel or Word document, keep saving your word. Keep saving your word. You can save basically by clicking, pressing Control plus S. Again, something which most of you know. Keep saving your work every 4 5 minutes. You never know, you might have a technical issue with your laptop. There might be internet connection issues or electricity issues. It could be anything. Make sure you're saving your work continuously, and once this time completes, then you're not saving any work. You do not press it. It happens, we have a, it becomes a tendency for us to, even if I'm making one change, we'll just do Control plus S, even if I'm not making any change. Like personally, I have this tendency. The moment it's like I'm not doing something even for a fraction of a second, I'll save my work. But once the time gets over, in that case, you do not have to save anything. Whatever you have done, even if you have attempted very less, it's okay. At least you might still stand a chance to clear. But if you save the work after the completion of exam time, your paper will not be accepted at any other cost, and there would be no refund for your examination as such. So keep this in mind. Your money is gonna go for waste, your term is gonna go for waste, your efforts for that term are gonna go for waste. So please keep these points in mind. So this was with respect to exam format. Similarly, for CB1 and CB2, they have just a single examination, single paper. It's of 3 hour 15 minutes itself, and this 15 minutes rule apply for all the papers. Similarly, for CP2, there are two examinations, the first being paper 1, second being the paper 2. Both of them are 3 hour 15 minutes examination. Another thing, okay, so Gunjan added this was, take screenshots of laptop as well in case of any technical issue which you might face during examination. Just think like this, keep a mobile ready, record everything. IFOA is very much, I would say, uh, considerate when it comes to students encountering such issues. They consider these provided you provide them with sufficient proof. So always have this presence of mind. Don't panic. Again, it's easier said than done, but you need to develop this. Any issue you face during examination, just record. First thing in your mind should be record. As keep clicking pictures wherever you go or you record, this is something you should keep in mind. Record it, so that whatever issue you face, you have a proof of it, which you might be able to send to IFOA for same. Okay, so one of you is asking me a question. First of all, please don't send me direct messages. So send it to everyone, so that everyone can view that particular thing. One of you is saying, during the reading time of 15 minutes, we can't type, right? Okay, so first of all, there is no separate reading time. Reading and writing time is combined. There is no separate reading time. So this 3 hour 15 minutes or 1 hour 40 minutes includes both reading and both writing time. So this was just an overview with respect to exam format. More nuances are something which we would be sharing in separate study groups for each of these subjects over a course of time. Ones who have already appeared for any paper previously, would be very well much aware of it, and the ones who are probably appearing for the first papers, first actual paper, or maybe first paper from IFOA, we would be sharing more details going further. These are just the basic set of details. Coming to IAI, their pattern is similar. CM1 has two parts, CM2, CS1, CS2 two parts. This has one part, CP2 has two parts. The duration is something which differs. Previously it was 3 hours, then it got 3 hour 15 minutes. Right now, keeping the because these papers have become online, they give 3.5 hours. So I'm not quoting any specific time right now because this is something which could change. It would be reflected in the IA website before examinations come or before any other formal announcement comes. Be assured we would be informing you about that. You know what is the exact time. So for II, there is nothing to upload or download. It's an automatic uploading. Another thing to mind is II exams are proctored. You need to keep your webcam on. So you need to have a device, probably a laptop. I'm not sure whether desktops have webcam. In case you put a separate machine for webcam, it's a different thing. Else, generally laptops have webcams. For II, you need the feature of webcam. There are certain minimum technical requirements to give the examinations. All these are available in the website for II. They also send it to you and ask you to first check it, and if they are met, then only book the exam. Once you book the exam and then you say ki no, my laptop doesn't meet the minimum system requirements, they won't be refunding the same for I so this was basically for II. The exams are proctored. Your webcam will be on. You shall be monitored that time. For IFOA, right now there is no what to say video monitoring as such. It does not mean you can take help of a friends or us. We won't be available at all during examinations. So don't even think that we would be helping you all. That is something we don't do it. So don't expect us to help you on the day of the exam. Before that, whatever help you all need with respect to academics, we are there to help. On the day of exam, forget we exist. So just because IFA exams are not monitored does not mean you should be resorting to any sort of malpractice, because if caught, you could be banned from giving examinations from a considerable point of time, and it could have both academic ramifications, as well as you might be facing certain professional what to say consequences of that. So please do not resort to any such thing. Others might be doing it. Many of them might be going unaware, or they might not be getting caught. But again, this is something you shouldn't really do it. And for anyone who is planning to become a fellow actuary, there is no easy route. You need to struggle hard. You need to consistently keep studying for papers for maybe 5 6 7 years. Ones who are already working, it takes comparatively more time for them, given their work requirements and personal commitments towards family as well. For the ones who are in college, given that you're starting a bit early, you should be able to clear the papers in, let's say, maybe 6 7 years if you're going at a pretty good speed. So there is no easy way out. You might clear a paper by resorting to these and might not get caught, but on the day of the interview, trust me, you won't be selected. Without knowledge, nobody is selecting you. Even if you have 10 papers cleared, it is not very difficult for you to remain unemployed if you do not know actually what you have done in the paper. So clearing the paper for the sake of it will not really help you anywhere. So please don't do resort to these. uh, okay, so one of them, Naveen is actually adding this. Okay, this was something I probably wasn't aware of. For the CS and CM papers, the answer sheet aren't uploaded automatically, so we need to upload. Okay, that is a point taken. I'll just again cross check this. Gunjan is adding it ki this is true for all of them. So again, this is something we'll get back to you. The ones who are giving from II, what is the exact what to say procedure for same? Good thing about II is you get to give a mock exam. A mock exam does not mean you get a new set of questions. It's a previous year paper only. They basically allow you to test their particular software in which you would be giving the examination. For all II students, that is the best thing. You would be getting, let's say, sometime before the II examinations, and where you will be you can make yourself comfortable with the entire platform on which you would be giving the examinations. So this was something to do with exam format. This was the fourth point. Moving forward, next point is something with respect to how you can view our lectures. So the live online sessions will be held on Zoom itself. If for some reason there are certain technical issues with Zoom or any other thing, we might shift to a different platform temporarily, Google Meet or any other new thing which is convenient for us as well as the students. Otherwise, right now the live online sessions will be held on Zoom. As for our recorded lectures, as for our particular software, these are currently only available on laptops or desktops which have a Windows operating system. So it's right now not directly available for MacBook. You need to install Windows in your MacBook to access this. Alternatively, our lectures can also be viewed on an Android mobile. So again, only one option is available. There are different pricing structure for same. I'm not going into much detail. The ones who are enrolling for our courses, which is the standard course, get access to use it on a single laptop. Please remember that change of machine is not allowed. In case of any technical issue being experienced by a laptop or any other software issue, in that case, we would be taking a look at the laptop. And if it is a genuine cause, we would allow the change of laptop, but for additional charges. Those would be pretty nominal. But again, this is something which is not allowed to everyone. It would be taken only on a case by case basis. So please preferably use a single laptop which you would be using throughout the entire term to view the lectures. Similarly, our lectures can also be viewed on Android mobile. The pricing for that is different. It's roughly 10% more than the normal fees, and students also have the option to watch it both on a one laptop as well as one Android mobile. In that case, the fees for same is 20% higher than the what's it? Than the standard fees for a particular paper. Again, there is a minimum charge of 2000 for all the papers. Not going into details for same. Anyone who might be interested, inform us at the point of admission time itself, or maybe in the first 1 to 2 weeks. Later, upgrading to both of them or one of them is something we can't assure we would be able to do. So if you want the access on two systems, one laptop, one Android mobile, or only on Android mobile, please inform us beforehand itself. So this was something to do with our system requirements. Again, there are more specific system requirements. So for all the new students, most of the time, sometimes it might happen ki me or Gunjan, who is having a conversation with you before you enrolling for the paper, we might actually forget to send you explicitly what are the minimum system requirements. Otherwise, we generally, before a student enrolls, especially a new one, we send them the particular minimum system specific requirements which are needed to be able to view our lectures. These are not for examinations, those have a separate thing. What I'm talking about is basically for my software, where you will be able to watch our lectures as well as the various other resources. Again, reiterating, change of laptop is not allowed. In case it is being allowed on a case by case basis, it would be only for an additional nominal charge for same, since we are being charged by our software vendor for every new machine being added. Next, coming to something which is more relevant to the academic part. What I was discussing, this was non-academic part kind of. So this is the first time we are basically keeping an orientation lecture, because we realize that a lot of students keep joining us at various different points of time. So it becomes difficult for us to keep giving the same information again and again. So through this class, we have a lot of students, probably around 90 participants coming today, and there are a lot of other old students as well who already have such information and so might not be attending today's class. So they have a basic idea regard all these things, so that you do not face any issues with these, because it could happen you are dealing with such an issue, you are messaging to us, we might be occupied with some other work or some other office related work, or it could be something to do with our classes, or it could be something to do with our personal work, we might not be able to respond. So to ensure that your studies are not affected, we are giving out this information pretty much at the outset itself. Now coming to the class structure. So as we have tried to incorporate these through the various brochures, we even released a video explaining how we go about our classes. So given the current pandemic thing, given that offline classes are not there, so just to first of all inform you, for April 2020, sorry, for September 2021 term and for April 2022 term, our classes will continue to remain completely online. So irrespective of your location, whether you're in this state or that state, this city, that city, or from any part of the world, you can do our classes. It's not that if things get better COVID wise, and I hope really they do get better pretty soon, that we would be shifting to offline classes and students taking online classes will be standard. That is not the case. For the next 1 year, our classes are gonna remain completely online. Right now, for the safety of students, for the safety of us, for the safety of students family, for the safety of our family, we are not going to take any classes in physical center for the next 1 year. After that, where our center could be, previously we had our physical center in Calcutta. Once pandemic gets over or we are in a position to conduct offline batches, we could be having it in Kolkata, we could be having it in Delhi as well, or we could be having it in both of them, could be some other city also. We are not really communicating right now. That is something we'll take a look at in at at a future point of time. So right now it's gonna be completely online. So you will be getting access to our time, our resources, irrespective of whichever part of the country you are. So that was the first thing. Second thing, as again reiterating, which I had done in my video, the classes would be only on weekends and public holidays. It could be that on some days, if we see that students themselves want a particular class, or we feel that it's important to take an additional class over and above those held on weekends, or for some reason due to certain examinations or certain festivals on weekends, a class is not being able to take, or for due to certain medical issues we are not able to take the classes, just in those cases we might take it on weekdays, and we'll try to keep it in the morning, because most of you do not have college in the morning, early morning, and even the ones who are working will not generally have an issue. We'll absolutely try to avoid keeping classes on these days, and in case we keep it and you cannot attend it, nothing to worry about. All our sessions for different content are either already available in recorded format, or going forward whatever new content is being made, those would be recorded and you would be having access to those. So do not have to worry in case you miss any of the live classes. So we would be starting from the next week. I We would be giving you certain weekly targets where you're expected to complete, let's say, 2 to 4 videos every week, go through the material and all these things. And then on the weekends we would be primarily focusing on three things. So, and those three things are basically where students have been found to have the most of their issues. One being paper B part. And again, I'll come to it. A lot of you simply tend to ignore it because it just has a 30% weightage, or something like that. Mathematically, yes, it has a 30% weightage. But if you look at the long term picture, if you want to become a good fellow actuary, you want to land in a good job, have a good knowledge, more than anything, working on the paper B part is more important. Conceptual clarity is required, but the application of same using various softwares is something which is even more important, because once you start working, you have to work on these itself. You won't be given a particular notebook or a piece of paper to write these things. You need to work on the system itself. Could be Microsoft Excel, could be certain other specific softwares, or anything. So our focus continues to remain both on paper A and paper B. So paper B part is something which we would be targeting in the weekend classes. Doubt solving. My entire purpose of spending time to take classes, even though we have actually curated a pretty good set of recorded lectures which covers almost each and every part, is you have doubts, you ask us, you ask me. Whatever doubt you have, however silly it might be, feel free to ask. There are certain things, like let's say if you're preparing for a paper, CS2 for example, what I assume is you have basic knowledge of CT3 or CS1. That is something we assume. So in the class, if you might ask something from that paper, so keeping the time constraints in mind, I might not be answering that. But anything related to the paper, feel free to ask anything. In case it's not being able to happen in class, always feel free to ask me through either our study group or through WhatsApp chat. Yep. And for the new students, the ones who would be giving for the first actual paper, the only prerequisite knowledge which we want is you understand English, which obviously most of you would be doing. And second is you must have had 11 and 12 maths. You must have had math in your class 11 and 12. Apart from these, whatever else is required for anything in the paper, it is something which we would be, teaching you right from the scratch itself. So this is the class structure and doubt solving and question solving. So three pillars of our the live online classes, it would be on paper B part, doubt solving and question solving using the most efficient techniques, something which students generally struggle, and so something which we really want to focus on. Again, it does not mean if you have a conceptual doubt I would not take it. If it happens so that for a particular topic quite a few of you are not being able to understand from a particular video, either due to that video having certain audio issues, something like that, or if you're just not able to follow it, in that case we would be taking a live online class for that as well. Although most of our lectures have been recorded in the past 2 years and they have pretty good audio and video quality, so not that you would be facing issues. But yes, just in case if you do ever, always feel free to ask, keep asking. You won't ask, I mean, what's the worst part? I might not answer it at the worst. It really doesn't happen कि I'm not answering. It might take time, but what could be the worst thing if you ask me something? I might not reply to it. So keep asking. I mean, that is the whole purpose of enrolling for these classes, so that you learn something from me. So whatever doubts, I'll keep repeating this, whatever doubts you have, keep asking. Just realize and appreciate one fact: as the exam approaches, so if you would see, we are taking 7 papers, it's just the two of us, and the entire fanatics is run by just two of us. Everything what you're doing, be it seeing the lectures, being the YouTube videos, being the materials which you are receiving, everything is basically done by either me or Gunjan. So as exam time approaches, our availability and our response time to your queries will keep increasing, because all the students have a tendency to start studying more hours towards the end of examination. They have more doubts. It might not be visible through groups, but if we'll just take a look at our personal chat, even if I'm not online there for 3-4 hours, sometimes I get 100-200 messages. So it takes time, specifically if institute comes out with a new notification. All of you have the same doubt, so just be a bit patient and appreciate that we also have other personal work, we have other commitments, and we are also preparing for other papers. So as exam time approaches, our response time will slightly increase. Right now we might be able to reply you in an hour or so, as soon as we see your message, or within a day. During the last 4-6 weeks, for various factors which I've already mentioned, our response time will keep increasing. Anything which is important will be done related to examination or any such notification. But for other doubts, if you are actually studying from day one itself, I don't think any student can complain कि we haven't responded to their doubt if they have been studying from day one for both paper A and paper B. But yeah, if some of you just do not do anything for the next 3-4 months, and bombard us with your doubts in the last 1 month, so that is something we do it by choice. We won't be responding to our doubts, because if we're not doing anything for the 3-4 months, even when we're devoting so much amount of time in yours, so don't expect us to devote time right before examination day, or 1 or 2 weeks before the exam. Be regular, work hard, and be assured we would be working more hard on you. But you need to be regular with your studies. That is something personally I won't be compromising on. You have to be dead regular towards your studies. As For the syllabus completion date, we target to complete latest by 15th August, and we are trying, and we'll actually, this is the latest deadline. We have a, I'll say, pretty good track record when it comes to completing the syllabus. We start early. I was waiting for a Saturday or a Sunday to start with the classes for this session. So 1st May, couldn't do it last week because ones who appeared for CM2 had just their exams ended on the Friday itself. So just to give them at least a couple of more days, I started with today. We start early, and we, more than you'll realize over a course of time, especially the new students. At least me, I'm in a more hurry, so that you complete your syllabus well in time, so that the last month is something you can really devote towards question solving, giving past papers under under exam conditions, and analyze your answers. That is where you'll understand where you exactly lack and how you can improve your score as well. For conceptual clarity, these the first 3-4 months are critical. For the scoring part, it's about the last month, how much you practice, how much you're able to understand your errors and work towards improving them. So coming back to it, we would try our best to complete the syllabus from our end by the 31st of July, so that students, be it from IAI or IFOA, have 1 full month for their revision task. So live online classes are something which would be getting completed by 15th August, and hopefully we might be able to complete the syllabus at least by 31st of July itself. So this was now about the class structure. Next part, coming to what all resources we would be providing with you all for any of the papers, CM1, CM2. It might vary slightly paper to paper, but overall what we would be providing you and what we actually need to refer to is, first and the foremost thing is the institute material. This is true for all the papers. Although many of the students find our lectures pretty good and the notes we provide them is many of them find sufficient to clear, from clearing point of purpose. But again, there is no substitute towards an institute material. However good my notes would be, however good Gunjan notes would be, you should be going through institute material. At least right now, given that you have a lot of time available, you should be going through the institute material. It's like a Bible, you should be going through it. So institute material is nothing but the material provided by the institute, which covers basically the syllabus objective. This is not available for paper B part. For paper B, nothing is provided by institute in the form of material. There is something called PBOR. So those are certain additional questions, codes, these things, but there is no separate material as such for paper B part provided by institute. But we would be through our lectures, through our assignments, give you the kind of knowledge which you require to have a extremely good understanding of it, as well as to be able to score well in your examination. And of course, passing remains a key criteria for these. So this is something which we would be giving you all for all the papers I've mentioned, all 7 papers which we teach currently. Next thing what we would be giving you wherever relevant is revision notes. So again, the students who are joining us for the first time, just these terms I'm just clarifying right now. So whenever I mention these during class or in study groups, you know what I'm talking about. Revision notes is nothing but basically constitutes of the past year papers of IFOA. Whether you are appearing exams from II or IFOA, you should be solving from these. II does not have any material of its own. All the material is created by IFOA and is used for both II and IFOA exams. So revision notes contains the last 10 years papers, questions segregated topic wise. So revision notes will have booklets. These will have booklets. Let's say booklet 1, 2, 3, 9, so on. Different papers will be having different number of booklets. Again, the specifics of this is something which we would be sharing in the study group. Right now, just to give an overview, revision notes is something which is very, it's a mandatory thing for you all to practice. And each revision note will have different booklets, and different booklets will having a single chapter or a cluster of chapters, and will be having the questions as well as the complete full solutions of these. Again, this is only for the paper A part. Apart from this, you will be also getting relevant, let's say R charts or assignments for R here refers to nothing but R programming, or it could be for Excel as well. So this is again something which we would be providing you for the paper B part as well. Along with these, we would be conducting mock examinations. So we would be having X assignments and Y assignments. These are nothing but to be given in the form of mock examinations. So X assignments is for paper A part, and whichever paper has paper B has Y assignments, where a group of chapters have been clustered together, and then there is let's say a mock exam paper for you all to practice. Apart from these, any other additional mock exams which would be available for certain papers shall also be provided by us. So these are the things. So you will be getting complete thing, be it for the paper A part, paper B part, whether it's CB1, CB2 or CP2, whatever you require, we shall be providing to you all. And just in case the ones who are already working, so in case your your employer is actually reimbursing you for all these materials, you could very well and go ahead and purchasing more products from Acted itself. Could be assets, flashcards. Like we would also be specifically for paper CB1, we would be giving flashcards. So these are something which really helps for theoretical subjects because they give a summary of topics. So this is something which we would be specifically sharing for CB1. Again, this is something not that relevant to other papers. You could use it, but then again, it will just become too much of resource to go through. Whatever you are providing is something which would ensure you are covering each and every part of the paper, be it from exam point of view, be it from knowledge point of view, or be it from work point of view, which would be required once you start working in the actuarial domain, or in fact any related domain. So these are the resources which we would be providing. Now coming to it, all of these are available in content browser. Shortly, I would be showing you all, how to go about these. Lot of you have problems with respect to this particular file. So I'll just brief all you what could be the potential issues which you might face and what are the ways to it, so that again, in case you encounter any such issue in future, you know how to get around it. You do not have to wait for reach out to us, we'll take a look at it, we'll respond to you. Certain common things we would be discussing right now itself, so that it saves your time in future, and your academics are not affected due to technical issues as such. Certain other resources like data sets specifically for R or Excel would be shared by Gunjan through your email ID. The Gmail ID which we have taken from you at the time of admission, all the materials would be shared there. Please keep in mind, do check your email properly. Even for today's class, we actually, I wouldn't pinpoint names, but 2 or 3 emails had been sent to specific students for today's class, and still they are saying they haven't received it. So please make sure you check your inbox properly, you update it. In case you're not receiving any new emails, it could be that your inbox is full of older messages. You need to delete those, and then only you'll get the new messages. So these are certain things which you please keep in mind. It will really help you, even for the ones who are not working. These are something which will really help you in your office as well, because nobody is really going to come and teach you these things. These are something which is expected, kind of expected, you should know. So if you're not receiving any email in your inbox, first thing should not be to ping us ki bhaiya I haven't received a mail. We have a data system, it should be going to all of us. At times the ones who are joining late could get missed. First thing you should do is check your inbox whether there is sufficient space or not. If not, clean it and then see whether you're receiving the old messages or not. So keep checking your email. We would be sharing lot of resources in the coming 1 or 2 weeks through email. We won't be sharing that again. So please make in mind that you basically tag it, put it in a different folder, you star mark it so that you get it. Don't be lazy and again after 2 months ask us to send the same thing again. We won't be investing time in to do that. You can't be lazy and expect us to do these sort of things. So please mark these, whatever we are sharing through your drive, through Gmail or through your email ID. Make sure to mark it so that you can access these later. As for the links of the Zoom class, these either would be shared through your email ID, or once the study groups are made, we might share it in the study group itself, the link for the live online classes. So this was about the resources. Next, coming to the language of the class, primary mode remains English. We have a lot of students who aren't, who are non-Hindi speaking. We have quite a few students from international territories as well. So the primary mode of language remains English. Whatever you ask, if you're not comfortable asking in English, some of you are can't frame your question, don't worry, ask in Hindi. For the others who do not understand Hindi, I'll try to frame the question in English and answer in English. And for some reason, if you still aren't able to get it, once the class gets over, I'll get back to you through Hindi. It's not that I don't like speaking Hindi. Personally, I feel I'm more comfortable, communicating in Hindi. But obviously, given the type of students which we have, and even more so from examination point of view, where more and more comments based questions are coming, where you need to pen down your thoughts in English. Communicating in English that way helps you. It just helps you to develop your communication skills. It nowhere is a measure of intellectual property. I myself used to hate communicating in English, or used to always run away from it in school time. But yeah, later as you mature, you realize it's the primary mode of communication for most of the people you would be meeting in work. If you are meeting people from different countries, or even from states which have a non-Hindi speaking population, in that case it is important that you are able to communicate in English. One My major reason to start teaching in English, initially I used to teach in Hindi only, because that's what I we mostly have studied under teachers uh, communicating in Hindi. We are more comfortable with that. In English I started because a lot of papers requires you to analyze and comment things on. Now there is a significant time which gets wasted, because we have a tendency to think in Hindi, or whichever is our mother tongue. Could be Bengali, Tamil, Telugu, anything, not going into specifics. And then once you try to translate into English, it actually requires sometimes time. We might also some of us might think, acha, is this the correct grammar, or this is grammatically wrong? So to reduce that thing, that was my main motive to start these classes in English. And progressively, as we got more and more non-Hindi speaking students, and given our reach in the international territories, we have completely shifted to English. But again, for anyone, I personally just know Hindi and English, no other language. So I really can't help you in some other language. But yeah, if some of you are not getting any doubt, feel absolutely free, to reach out to me just after class with your doubts, and I'll explain it in Hindi. It's not that I won't be doing it. Certain lectures which I would be recording, I want the recordings to be completely in English, so I might hesitate to use Hindi that time. But if any of your queries are still, unresolved, if you're still not being able to get it, feel absolutely free. I would be getting back to you in Hindi as well. So communication is language is something which shouldn't be a barrier for any one of us, whether we are comfortable in speaking Hindi, English, or any other language as such. Uh, this was it. Next thing, coming to the installation of software. So the students, ones who have joined probably in the last 1 or 2 days who have enrolled with us, some of you might have received messages from me with respect to installation of our software, and some of you I haven't, because these times generally before a new batches starts, it's pretty hectic for both me and Gunjan, given we need to interact with a lot of students, give them details, clear their queries and so on. So you would be getting this by tomorrow end of the day, be absolutely assured of that. Right now I will just show it to you how to go about the entire thing. Ones who have already done, please look at it, because just in case you are looking to change your laptop, or maybe this particular software gets deleted and you need to repeat the process, you know exactly how it needs to be done, what could be the potential areas where you might experience any technical related issue in your system, and uh, basically how to go about resolving that. So I'll share my screen and I'll show it to you all. Two links are specifically which I send to all the new students joining. So let me just walk you through that. Just confirm me once, maybe one or two of you, is are you able to see your Excel sheet on my system? Okay, I've got a response. Okay, it's visible. So this is the first link. I'll just take a copy of that. And what I do next is, let's say I go to Microsoft, I basically go to Google and I paste it. You don't have to do this. Maybe you can open WhatsApp web or Telegram web and click on this link, and you will see that a file starts getting downloaded. The name of the file is Fanatics Files. It's a pretty short size, 121 MB itself. So given the kind of data speed which at least students in India have right now, it won't really take much time to download this file. So let this particular file download. In the meantime, another link is basically of this PDF view. Now there are certain instructions for this as well, which for some reason most of you just simply choose to ignore, and then you ask me and then I'm like, okay, do this way, which is something which I've already mentioned. I'll again try to refine it more so that it's more clear to all of you. So this is again the second link, uh, which is actually required for you all to install. And this is probably the link where quite a lot of you actually face issues. This software called PDF view. A good thing, this particular file, if you'll see, is PDF view 1. So I'll see this particular file won't work. The name of the file should be PDF view. Why it is showing 1 right now is because I already have this file in my system, and therefore if a same file is coming, it gets numbered 1. If it's the third copy, it will be number 2, and so on. So I'll show it to you. uh, in the meantime, it's getting downloaded. One last thing in the sense which I was gonna come towards the end is, and which I have repeated several times, whatever doubts you have academic related, feel free to ask. Study groups are meant for those. Please put all your numerical doubts there itself, because certain doubts are so much common to students. We prefer it's there in one place. Putting your doubt also helps other students to look at things in a different perspective. They might think their concepts are clear, but then looking at the question, they realize it's not. So nobody is judging you. And if other students are, let them. They are being fools to judge you for your questions. I myself, as a student, used to ask n number of questions. Quite a few of teachers used to get irritated with me because I used to ask each and every sort of question. If this is not happening, why not this? If this is not happening, why not this? Would say hypothetical questions, but then that is how used to I learn about. If this is not happening, what if I try this? Why is that right and wrong? So that is something I'll keep encouraging you all. Keep asking doubts. Keep asking doubts. Whatever doubts you have, whatever academic doubts, keep asking them. And for any numerical doubts from any of the materials specifically, group should be the first thing. We'll be sending the solutions there itself, so that others having similar doubts can also take a look at them. So the files have been downloaded. You can just click on this and we'll see how it works. This is something which will get in your system. And then some of you just text me it's not getting. So you see, it's either don't run, that won't serve my purpose. What could be the next logical thing? What other option do you get here? There's a more info option. So I'm even explaining you even other errors which you might encounter, not in our software, anything else. Try to develop this logical thinking. If one thing is not working, what are the other ways? Try that. I click on more info and then I get a run anyway option. And I click on that. And now I see destination folder. So it's best to put it either in downloads or wherever. Please take a look at this so that you know where this file is being downloaded. Else most of you, especially students coming right out of school, who might not have had such kind of exposure in working with such files uh, on laptop, though right now all classes are online, so you would be becoming more and more aware. But still, if you don't know, please take a look at the destination. So right now I'm putting this destination as, let's say, desktop itself. You can put it anywhere you want, okay? And I browse it, or rather I extract it. Now I take a look at it and I get Fanatics files. Okay. Then you will see there's a folder how to play videos. It's important for all of you to open this and look at all the videos. Troubleshooting is something you do not need to watch beforehand. Troubleshooting is basically if you encounter any issue, then the first thing is you open troubleshooter and maybe try to look, are there any videos for it. So there is something called graphics, there is something called corrupt codec, there is something called antivirus exception, internet connection, enable user account control, recover damaged missing file. All these things most common will be with respect to your antivirus. They would be putting a lot of restrictions since this is a third party software. So these videos how to play is something you need to take a look at in complete. Once done with this, content browser, you do not have to click on any other file. Video player might appeal to you. It's obvious, you need to watch videos, so you will click on video player. You do not need to click on it. Everything which you need to do is for content browser. This is everything where you will be able to see everything, be it the lectures, be it the documents, anything. It's the content browser. Before opening this, again, the next important part is PDF view. So I'll just take a look at my downloads where this file has been downloaded, PDF view. First thing which I'll do is uh, I'll just cut it and I'll paste it where? Here, exactly here, nowhere else. I'll be pasting it here only, PDF view 1. Okay. And I will be renaming this file. You do not have to rename it because in your case the file will be named as PDF view only. PDF view. Whenever you see that this particular file is not in this particular folder, then you won't be able to watch any of the documents. Lectures you can watch, but documents you can't watch. You will get an error. PDF view.exe does not exist in a particular specified path. It means that this is not in the correct folder. Next thing is that you basically click on content browser and then you get a dialog box coming in and you click on a yes. Then again it's written that using this software from desktop is not recommended. You might face errors. So it's preferable that you do not save it on C drive, any other drive. For those students who do not have any other drive, C drive is something where you can store it. Preferably don't store it on C drive. Next thing is subject setup. So just put the name of the subject. Let's say for say enrolling for paper CM1. I just put CM1 and I check subject. Acha, they basically need the serial number. Sorry. So serial number is something, a 9-digit code which I would be sending to all of you. You put a 9-digit code, you check subject, and then you proceed to activation. A particular screen will come. Again, these are there in the video. In how to play videos, this entire instruction is there. You need to put in certain details. A common question is purchased from whom. So a lot of you mention my name. It's better you mention Fanatics. Purchased from whom? Mention Fanatics. Date of exam. So you can just check your date. You can put that, or maybe if you just want to put an any other random date, let's say put it 30th September 2021 for those who are appearing for exams this session. And there's also a column which I would suggest is very important. From where did you get to know about us? Whether you got to know from a reference, from any of our students, from YouTube, from LinkedIn, from Google advertisements, from any Telegram or WhatsApp groups, whatever is the case, please try to put the right thing so that we know, how our students are getting to know about us, because we generally don't advertise or market as such. No paid advertisement as such is involved. So we just need to take a look at how our students are getting to know about us. Now once you're done with this thing, another thing which you understand is you'll be getting a particular dialog box on a screen, and then you'll find nothing there. Then you ask, aren't the videos uploaded, aren't the documents uploaded? It is there. Once you open content browser after activation, uh, on the top right you will see a yellow download button. In the form of download, you will see on the top right side a download button colored in yellow. Click on that and you will be able to see all the lectures. You will have lectures, you need to download each one of them individually. You will have documents, you need to download them, and whatever you need to view, you will be viewing from content browser. PDF view, you do not have to click on it. You click on it, you get this error. This file, bad configuration file. No problem. You do not have to click on this. This is just a supporting file. Whatever you have to do is with the content browser itself. Once you click on the top right download button, you will get a lot of things. Download all of them and you'll be able to watch from content browser itself. Just one more thing, while activating your course after putting serial key, you are asked to put your mobile number and you receive an OTP. So at certain point of time, you might not receive OTP even for 5-10 minutes. So what you can do is maybe try after some time. Let's say after 10 minutes, if it's still not happening, maybe after 1 hour, and still let's say even after 3-4 hours it's not happening, please get back to us. This is an issue which especially international students will face, because you might not be getting OTP, being it's an international number. Not necessary you will, but it might be happen. For any such issue, directly get back to me. I will be sending you a manual OTP which you can use to activate your course. So this was, about activating all of these. Just remember that if you have enrolled for 2 papers, okay, so you need to repeat the entire process 2 times. So for each paper, let's say somebody is studying for paper CM1 and CS1. You do this for CM1, you download again everything, you create a new folder, and you do it again for CS1 as well. So each time you take a course, you need to download all these files again and do it accordingly. Store it in a different folder and then view them accordingly itself. So this was basically about the installation of software. So I guess I'm pretty much very well, covered almost everything which I wanted to cover. Your first class would be tomorrow. It would be of paper B. So we would be having common class tomorrow for both CS1 and CS2, as well as for CM1 and CM2, Excel part and the R part. And from the next week onwards, we would be providing you with your what to say, the study task of the week. Once we create the groups, we are just waiting for more students to come up. Old students who think they might not be able to clear the paper. So once we have sufficient numbers, we have information, which student is enrolling for which paper, we'll create groups. And please make sure you're checking the Telegram group at least once every day. I understand just 1 month before examinations, or sometime before examinations, lot of you distance yourself from social media, which is a very good thing to do. maybe from Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, to uninstall WhatsApp. Telegram is something, till the time you're studying from us, you're not allowed to deactivate it. So you better not use Telegram for interacting with your friends, family, relative, cousins, and all. Use it for educational purpose only, so that you do not have to delete that, because maybe your time is being spent there for other let's put it leisurely activities, which might negatively impact your studies. So Telegram group is something you need to check at least once every day. Maybe fix a time, 9 p.m. at night, 10 p.m. at night, 6 p.m. in the evening. Every day, at least check once, so that you are updated. In case you miss any information there, there is not much we can do, be it with respect to examination, for job opportunities, or anything else. We obviously share information, different information, on a lot of forums, but anything to do with our classes will be there directly on our Telegram group itself. So it's necessary that each one of you, whether you're working, non-working, just take out 5-10 seconds in a day, check one group whether there is any message or not. The reason we have two groups is, one is for doubts group, which many of you might want to skip it for the time being, if you're not preparing for that paper, or if you're devoting your time for something else for whatever reason. There is another group which we would be naming as general updates. That is one group which you should check every day. Nobody is allowed to post anything in that group. That is only for me or Gunjan to post all important information, so that you have an regular update with respect to these. Another thing, especially ones who would be studying from us for the first time, I tend to keep pinging you all, rather dropping WhatsApp or Telegram message inquiring about how your preparation is going and all. So given the external circumstances, it's a challenging time. I'll actually excuse any one of you in case you do not respond to me, in case there is some personal issue or medical emergency at a place. Anyhow, if you get time, feel free to let me know, so that I don't keep asking you again and again, why haven't you prepared well, why you're lacking behind. It's a difficult time for quite a few of us, with relatives and friends getting ill, um, job losses for some, or certain other issues. So it's understandable. Just thing is, I really won't know beforehand, whether you are facing such issues or not. So just in case I don't bother you every week or so with respect to taking updates for your preparation, just let me know if you have any issues, so that I can excuse it. And once things get normalized in your path, you can come back later and just let me know, how your preparation was. Just one last thing which I actually missed was, we have something called a study review sheet. We have actually spent a lot of time designing on that. So that is something which we would be sharing with you all, and that is to basically keep a track of what you're doing. It's kind especially for those who would be working, if you are aware, it's something kind of a work of week thing, where each week you need to update, what things have you studied in the what things have you covered in a particular week. So what used to happen earlier was, I used to individually either I used to message mostly, and maybe at times call and just take an input, how the preparation is going or not. So there can be certain delays with respect to you responding to it, me having to explicitly wait for your response and then check individually, ask you the same set of questions again and again. Through that study review, I and Gunjan are able to exactly see where you're standing. So in case later on, if you're facing any issues with the papers, whether to give two papers or one paper, once the results are out, or any such doubt, we already know that you have updated your study review. We can take a look at your particular progress and advise you accordingly. I don't believe in giving general advice ki ha do this, do that. It is something pretty specific. All of you might be having different backgrounds, different examination dates, different times to devote for college or for work, different kind of busy work wise in different months. So again, to for me to give any meaningful advice, I need to have certain information from you all. So academic wise, if you fill that study review sheet, at least that much I know, so I can just give you a more sensible advice, and not just a generic advice ki ha do this, do that. It really doesn't make sense to take a generic advice. So this was all about it. Any doubts you all have? Any doubts? Feel free.